Meeting to order. Would you please stand with me and recite the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for coming out tonight. First item on our agenda is our weekly commission reports. So I'll turn it over to Commissioner Moore at this time.
Okay, pretty much nothing but fun for me this week. Went to a celebration at PUD today, which was interesting, regarding the solar power program that they have. I'll be meeting tomorrow with Tammy Newton about an upcoming event that we're going to be having, raising awareness for the need for housing in our county. And other than that, it's just Christmas celebrations.
The only thing I have is a meeting with Commissioner Netherland. Called me today for I don't even know what it's about. A little worried. That's it for me.
Okay, and today I did also attend the solar demonstration up there at PUD 3, and I heard some interesting things. And so nothing else scheduled for this week except staff briefings and Christmas, of course. So that concludes our commission reports. The next opportunity, there's a public comment period now, and there will be one later on. If somebody wants to speak now, all you have to do is sign at that little sheet on the end of the table. If not, there's another opportunity farther down the agenda. Are we ready for reading of the consent agenda?
Yes.
Okay, could we please have a reading of the consent agenda?
Yes. Vouchers numbered 10366 through 10494 in the amount of $378,528.12. Payroll warrants numbered 1289 through 1435 and 10342 through 10365 in the amount of $667,491.64. Commission meeting minutes of study session of November 9th, 2015, business meeting of November 16th, 2015, and the MAISCOM facilities lease renewal.
Is there a motion to approve of the consent agenda?
I move we approve the consent agenda.
I second that motion.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. The agenda passes. There is no old business on the agenda tonight, but we do have an item under a new business, and that will be presented to us by Vicki Look.
Yes, I was asked to present this request by Kathy Byerly, and it is because we had needed to buy a second server to support the Tyler financial system. And so most of the money that is costing it came from the 2014 carryover funds. There was, let's see, what did she put here? $12,008 is the total cost, and $5,100 comes from the 2014 fund balance carryover dedicated to financial services, and approximately $6,900 from the financial services operational budget to the capital section of the general fund. And this is to pay for that server as we bring on more data programs and things like that to process that. So she has requested that the commission make a motion to authorize the city administrator to make the final necessary budget adjustments. She has also asked, though, that goes on the consent agenda for next week. So if you have any questions, I'll try to answer them for you.
We're way too far into it now to stop, so pretty much got to do it.
Well, I'm in favor of keeping our technology current, especially because, it saves a lot of time on if your programs are outdated. And so I think this is a wise decision, and I am supportive of it.
Yes.
Okay? So I guess what we want to do is just say we concur for this budget modification, and we want to allow the city administrator to make the necessary budget adjustments, and that what we want to do is place it on the consent agenda for next week.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Commissioners.
Very good. All right, thank you. And next is a report from our city administrator.
A report on the levy shift this evening. The county earlier this week did authorize the levy shift, and it's what's in their budget. We've also received a contract between the city and the county that contains the levy shift that we would to at least instructions between the two of us as to how this might be done. I did send it to Kathleen, and she had some concerns with it and is making revisions. I'm not entirely sure what those are just yet. There is a impact within the levy shift in that you lose the ability to add construction value to the impacted district during the period of time, or at least for the amount of money that is shifted. I'm not exactly sure how much that is for two reasons. I'm not completely sure how the dynamics work in terms of how that's calculated, and also at this point don't know how much we're anticipating for new construction value for 2016. So it's my intention to, by a week from today, when we have our final meeting for the year, bring back a contract that includes the revisions the city attorney is suggesting, plus try to make some kind of estimate of the actual impact that this would have on the Metropolitan Park District. And at this rate, I do know that that if we're going to do the contract and it's to be valid, we really need to do it by the end of the year. Otherwise, it'll be too late. So that's what I know about it thus far. This is just an add-on to what we talked about last week and what I reported to you last week. I did produce a staff report so that we start creating a paper trail of this knowledge that I'm sharing with you, so that I can bring as little as possible to you at the last minute next week when it'll be before you if you choose. So that concludes my report.
I guess there's two things, two thoughts out there. The one thought is that they can do it regardless, I think, of our input. The other thought is that they really need us to support it for it to go through. So I have been in communication with one of the commissioners, actually two of the commissioners, actually three of the commissioners, remembering all my conversations, and seems a little bit confusion about exactly how this works. I'm not sure there's anyone on the planet that really knows exactly how it works, but we do know that one of the commissioners voted against this, and he did it because he thought it was unfair to the city of Shelton. And so I am quite not certain that I feel real comfortable, because, again, it is another setting a precedent for a way to get some money from the taxpayers of Shelton through these kinds of maneuvers, and I'm not positive that that is the best alternative for them. So I'm still asking questions, I'm still talking to the commissioners, and I'm sure that our legal opinion will be ready by next week, and that we can make a decision on this. That's what I know about it.
My concern is the new information that we got this week. Thank you for getting this to us, is that we are looking at and expecting several significant developments And I would be really, really hesitant to it all, except without a lot of complaining, if we were not able, if we lost the ability to reap the benefits of this development that we've been waiting for. And as I'm understanding, if I'm understanding this correctly, it would be a huge loss for the city, besides what we would be losing potentially with the Metropolitan Parks District.
I'm pretty sure that that assuming that Shelton Hills starts during 2016, I'm pretty sure that that wouldn't be the source of the impact. But I don't know for sure. That's the problem with this, is the significant uncertainty associated with it. We've gotten some answers from the State Department of Revenue, some answers from the city attorney, and as far as I can tell, nobody's got all the answers yet, and what I'll do is just get as many of them for you as I can between now and the end of the year. The problem, it may actually be, it could actually be a fairly small short-term impact in terms of the new construction value that is added. Trouble is that it's forever. And so it's a function of how much can you add the additional tax base to the, to your ability to collect, and then it compounds over years. So what I really want to do is figure out what that number is, so I can try to capitalize it and say what is the real impact of our inability to get that, and I just won't be able to know that until later when we get more information.
So do we lose the authority on just the year of 2016 construction? Or do we lose it ongoing? I mean, that doesn't make sense to lose it forever, because I don't think, in my opinion, Shelton Hills isn't going to amount to a whole lot in 2016 as far as taxing on property taxes. I mean, even if they start tomorrow, there's going to be nothing on the ground to tax.
Yeah, and what I'm trying to do
And same with SPI.
what I wanted, one of my stops in my research here is to have a conversation with Steve Goins and find out just exactly how much he expects us to add in new value next year through construction. And we are obliged to make those estimates in order to be able to estimate building permit revenue. So he'll have that number, but he's been out of the office, and so I've already talked to him about it today. And the only thing I know for certain is that if you miss a year being able to add that new value, due to this shift, that you'll never be able to add it in the future. So, and then essentially you can add 1% per year plus new growth. So, and then what you do is every bit that you add, you get a compounding effect on it, because you add the new growth, and you can add 1% to that every year. So to the extent that you can't add the new growth, that means that you're not adding that 1% on that portion too. So I don't know what that is. I just got to do the math. Sounds like it's not very much, but until I'm comfortable with the method, I'm reluctant to commit to an amount or even a scale.
So affected would be both residential and commercial?
Sure. Yeah.
All right, so you'll come back next week with some more information.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you very much.
Okay.
We do have another opportunity for general public comment. If somebody would like to say something, that's the sheet right up there. And if not, then I think we ask for any, okay. Could state your name for the record.
Yeah, I'm Kathleen Waugh. I live at 621 Laurel at the corner of 7th and Laurel. I've lived there for 37 years. My house is on the historic register and it's in a historic neighborhood. And so I was really astonished about 2 months ago when I came home and there was a porta potty right across the street from my house. And I think it's in a grotesque spot. I think it's just really ugly and not very useful either. I think having more public bathrooms is a great idea, but I think this particular one is in a poor place. And so I showed up here tonight to talk about that. But a whole bunch of really nice people have already talked to me about it tonight and have assured me that it's probably leaving. So I feel a lot better, but I do think this is a situation in which it shows that communication really is important. And that maybe when a change is going to be made in a neighborhood, maybe the people who live there should be informed instead of just left completely bewildered. And so my main point is that I think there should be more communication when changes are taking place in a neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment, and yes, I agree with that statement. All right, any other public comment? Seeing none, then any administration final touches?
Such as, there's nobody here. Oh, Vicki.
Oh, Vicki?
I would like to say we're going to have a reception for Commissioner Olson next Monday after the commission meeting, and I would like to invite the public to attend.
All right.
I'm not sure how long the commission meeting is going to last. It seems like there's getting to be more things added by the minute. It should be maybe 3 or 3:30.
All right. Our next meeting will be next Monday, December 28th at 2 p.m. in the afternoon. This meeting is adjourned.